According to data from CSIS, a single company had delivered over 14 million deadweight tons of commercial vessels in 2024 alone, more than the entire U.S. shipbuilding industry has produced since the end of World War II. We are not talking about a decade of production. We are talking about one company in 1 year, outproducing nearly 80 years of output from the world's largest superpower. When we talk about global logistics, we often look at the cranes, the massive ZPMC units that line every port from Los Angeles to Rotterdam. But there is a company that operates on a scale that makes those cranes look small, a company that builds the actual ground the global economy floats on. It is called the China State Shipbuilding Corporation, or CSSC. It is a massive state-backed company, and it has quietly achieved total global dominance. To understand the grip CSSC has on the world, we have to look at the numbers. And the numbers for the last fiscal year are nothing short of staggering. In 2024, CSSC's Shanghai-based shipyards alone delivered 69 vessels and secured 128 new orders, reflecting a 70% year-on-year growth in new orders. That 70% jump isn't a typo. In an industry that usually fights for single-digit growth, CSSC is sprinting ahead of everyone. But let's break down what those Shanghai-based shipyards actually are, because calling these places shipyards feels a bit like calling the Pentagon an office building. Because these aren't just factories, they are industrial cities. Jiangnan Shipyard alone stretches over miles of the Yangtze riverfront. It has its own internal rail lines, its own power grids, and dry docks so deep they can obscure an aircraft carrier from satellite view, until they don't want to. When we look at the global order book for 2024 and heading into 2025, the data is clear. China grabbed roughly 70% of all new shipbuilding orders globally. South Korea, the only real rival in high-tech ships, took about 18%, and Japan is a distant third. And within China's massive share, CSSC is the king. They hold roughly 23 to 25% of the entire world's merchant shipbuilding orders. Think about that. 1 out of every 4 commercial ships ordered on planet Earth is being welded together by this one company. So how did it get this big? It wasn't an accident. For a long time, Chinese shipbuilding was split. You had CSSC covering the South and East, and CSIC, China Shipbuilding Industry Corporation, covering the North and West. They were rivals, ostensibly competing against each other. But in late 2019, Beijing decided the era of internal competition was over. They approved the merger of the two giants. When CSSC and CSIC merged, they created a monster. Overnight, they became the world's largest shipbuilder, surpassing the South Korean giants like Hyundai Heavy Industries. This merger did 2 things. First, it centralized the supply chain. CSSC doesn't just build hulls. They own the engine makers. They own the electronic systems designers. They own the steel procurement channels. They have vertically integrated the entire process of putting a ship on the water. Second, it consolidated the 2 systems. And this is where the story gets darker and more complex. The merger blurred the lines between civilian profit and military power. The same dry docks that are welding together the container ships that bring you your iPhone are often sitting right next to the dry docks assembling the destroyers and frigates for the People's Liberation Army Navy. For years, the criticism of Chinese shipbuilding was simple. They build the cheap stuff. The narrative was that South Korea builds the high-tech LNG carriers and floating factories, Europe builds the luxury cruise ships, and China builds the bulk carriers, the dumb steel boxes that carry coal and grain. That narrative is dead. CSSC killed it. Let's look at the 3 crown jewels of shipbuilding. To be a true superpower in this industry, you need to be able to build 3 things: an aircraft carrier, a liquid natural gas carrier, and a luxury cruise ship. CSSC has now done all 3. Take the Adora Magic City. This was China's first domestically built large cruise ship, delivered by CSSC's Waigaoqiao shipyard. Cruise ships are notoriously difficult to build. They are floating hotels with complex HVAC, entertainment systems, and safety requirements. Europe dominated this for decades, but in 2024, CSSC proved they could do it. Then there are the LNG carriers. These ships transport liquid natural gas at -160 degrees Celsius. They require special containment systems made of Invar steel that is paper thin. One mistake and the hull cracks. Hudong Changhua, a CSSC subsidiary, is now churning these out. In 2024, they secured record orders for Q-Max size LNG carriers, some of the largest in history. They have broken the South Korean monopoly on this technology. It means CSSC is no longer just the Walmart of shipbuilding. They are becoming the Apple and Tesla of the seas. They are capturing the high-value market, leaving competitors in Japan and Europe with fewer and fewer niches to hide in. Now we have to talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the aircraft carrier in the dry dock. We mentioned earlier that CSSC is state-backed, but it's more than that. It is a central pillar of China's military-civil fusion strategy. When an American shipyard builds a destroyer, it's usually a dedicated defense contractor facing budget cycles, delays, and a lack of skilled labor because they don't have consistent commercial work to keep the lights on. CSSC operates differently. Because they have a limitless stream of commercial orders, those 128 new orders in Shanghai we mentioned, they can keep their shipyards running at full capacity 24/7. They can train thousands of welders, engineers, and project managers on civilian ships and then pivot that workforce to military projects when needed. The commercial side subsidizes the military side. The profit from selling container ships to Maersk or CMA-CG helps fund the infrastructure that builds the Fujian aircraft carrier. Satellite imagery of Jiangnan Shipyard is fascinating. You will see a line of commercial container ships, and right next to them, the distinct gray hulls of Type 055 destroyers, some of the most advanced warships in the world. The U.S. Office of Naval Intelligence has highlighted this repeatedly. The gap in shipbuilding capacity between China and the U.S. is estimated to be over 200 to 1. While U.S. shipyards struggle to produce a handful of destroyers a year, CSSC's capacity is theoretically limited only by how much steel they can get their hands on. This matters because in a protracted conflict, the ability to repair and replace ships is just as important as the ability to shoot missiles. CSSC gives China a respawn capability that no other nation currently possesses. So, what happens when one company builds the majority of the world's logistics hardware? It creates a dependency trap. Shipping companies in Europe and even huge American logistics partners are addicted to CSSC because they are cheap, they are fast, and they are good. If you want a ship delivered in 2027, you go to CSSC. If you go to South Korea, you might wait until 2028 or 2029. If you go to the US, well, you don't go to the US for commercial ships anymore. Furthermore, CSSC is now pushing for smart ship standards. They want to set the global rules for autonomous shipping and maritime data standards. As we wrap up, we have to look at the order book. CSSC's shipyards in Shanghai are reportedly full until 2027 or 2028. The era of Western dominance in maritime construction is not just declining, it's arguably over. They have the scale of 14 million DWT, they have the growth of 70% year-on-year, and they have the backing of a superpower that views shipbuilding not just as a business, but as a prerequisite for global dominance. The next time you see a massive container ship pulling into a harbor, take a look at the hull. Chances are it was born in a CSSC dry dock under the shadow of a gray naval destroyer, built by the company that now controls the seas. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.